Hey, what up? It's Tampa Brad. Just got back from a workout in the gym, and I want to talk about something that I'm completely unqualified to talk about, but I don't care because this is my channel and I can talk about whatever I want, JK. But on a serious note, I actually want to talk about cancer. And, so what is cancer and why it's interesting that cancer is, there's some interesting language around cancer, and just kind of as a thought experiment, like, what's the deal with cancer? How do we think about it? And kind of what are the ramifications of how we actually look at it? So first off, think about this. Have you ever heard, I'm getting notifications that I gotta push away. Have you ever heard of someone being cured of cancer? I haven't. In fact, I'm actually fairly confident in my, what do I call this? In my barracks lawyer research, that's what they call it in the Army when you kind of know the laws, but not really, that at one point it was actually illegal to say that you had cured cancer, even if you were a medical doctor. So why is that? Why do they use the word remission? Why is it that cancer cannot be cured? Well, the medical explanation, like if you go on like the Mayo Clinic's website or anything like that, or the highly reputable WebMD, that's a joke in case you couldn't tell. If you look online, it's because no doctor wants to say that you're cured in case your symptoms come back. So I have just a very simple question that popped into my head when I heard that is, okay, well, that's interesting because for me, I had strep throat multiple times when I was a kid. Funny enough, I've actually kind of recollected this, and the first time I got strep throat, I actually decided that I needed to be sick to get out of school. So funny how that kind of works when you actually think back to the logic of being sick. But anyways, by the way, I'm not sick right now. It's just it's cold in Florida, and just got back from the gym, so a little sniffly. But anyways, the point is I got strep throat and scarlet fever actually multiple times when I was a kid. But the doctors weren't afraid to say that I was cured of my strep throat or scarlet fever. So isn't that funny? If you get a flu, or let's say you get some sort of other sickness that I can't say on YouTube, he who shall not be named, so to speak, isn't it funny how you can be cured of that, right? Like you can, once your symptoms go away and you're good and you test negative, you are considered cured. We all know that the symptoms can come back. This is my cat, by the way. She's joining me for this video. We all know that the symptoms can come back. Why is this different with cancer? And by the way, I actually don't have an explanation for this, but I do think that things like this are worth looking at, because the answer for me actually is choose not to participate. If you choose not to, and I know that's like, how can I not participate in cancer? My grandfather, actually, both of my grandfathers died of melanoma, which is a skin cancer. So what I don't participate in is I don't participate in going and getting myself sunburned a lot. I try to protect myself from that because I know that in my family, my genetic line is susceptible to melanoma because both of my grandfathers died of that. My grandmother, it's probably at some point, and unfortunately, maybe sometime soon, will probably die of COPD or some sort of lung cancer because she has been a rabid smoker her whole life. So I don't participate in those things. But it's funny how this cancer thing is kind of a catch-all and a thing that we just refuse to look straight at, and we use this kind of weird language around it. So really my question for you, if you're watching this and you're interested in this, is where in your life are you participating in something like cancer where there's just no cure? Like you just can't cure it. Once you get it, you have it for the rest of your life. You're fucked. It's like, oh, probably not allowed to say that. Anyways, whatever. You're screwed. Like it's over. It's all over. There's no cure. You can only have, the best you can have is remission. And it sounds like intermission, right? It sounds like it's a pause between two things. So really the question is, where are you participating in cancer? And really, is this something that just look at it on its face value, okay? A disease, right? Like an affliction of the body that cannot be cured, does that really square up in your head? Like, does that really square? And really part of the explanation, my cat really wants me in this video. Part of the explanation as to why it cannot be named, or excuse me, why it can't be named, why it can't be cured is because doctors don't know enough about it. And isn't that interesting that doctors don't know enough about it? How long have doctors known about cancer? I mean, it has to be at this point, I mean, it's 2022, it has to be at least 40 years. How can you not know enough about cancer to know when it's gone? On its face, if you actually sit down and look at it, it doesn't make any sense at all. So I love sitting down and talking and thinking about these silly little things because it just can kind of poke a hole in maybe some logic that you have accepted, and maybe when you actually sit down and honestly, and by the way, if you're not going to sit down and honestly think about this, there's really no point, but I actually genuinely feel that it's an honest question as to why do we choose. And by the way, it's a choice that you choose to participate in and I choose to participate in, and everybody chooses to participate in calling, ending cancer, this thing like remission instead of curing it. Whereas with other diseases and other illnesses and afflictions of the body, they're just afflictions of the body, right? We choose to call it cured, right? Like, is there a cure for certain things? And so really, my question for you, and this is kind of like where your head always has to go when you see something that doesn't make sense is there a group that benefits from this being a certain way that doesn't really make sense? Maybe. I mean, are there any groups that could possibly, maybe, even just a little bit, benefit from people being sick from something for which there is no cure and you have to do something or take something or ingest something or buy something for the rest of your life in order to cope with the symptoms, okay? Could that possibly benefit anyone? I don't know, maybe, probably not. There's probably no one who's benefiting from it. It's just the way that it is, right? Okay, I'm a business person. I do marketing and I do sales. Over the past let me make sure my numbers are right here. 3 and change years, I've sold well into 8 figures of stuff. I get things under contract. I get people to sign and give large sums of money for things. That is what I do on a daily basis. The most important thing when someone is signing over a large amount of money is the messaging. You have to be messaging properly from the beginning. You have to be sending the right messages. If you're not sending the right messages, so like for example, one thing we do is luxury renovations. If you are not speaking the language of people who do luxury renovations, if you come in and you start talking about like crap that doesn't matter to these people, if you're not talking about the architect, if you're not talking about the interior designer, if you're not talking about the cabinet, like the specific things that these people are worried about, the rain heads, the Hans Grohe valves, the quartz and now porcelain countertops. Like if you're not like talking about these things, the custom cabinets, they're gonna know you're not serious because there's a certain messaging that goes along. So even if you're an amateur, if you get the messaging right, it doesn't matter. The marketing is more important. The marketing, by the way, if you talk to anyone who sells a large amount of anything, they will tell you the most important thing, it's not the quality of the product, it's not the results, it's not referrals, it's not what people are saying about the product, it's the marketing of the product. Now, all those things can go into marketing, right? But the marketing of a product is the most important thing in the world, bar none. There's not even anything that comes close. And I have seen this firsthand. When I get my marketing right, we do things like double our business like we did last year, right? That's what happens when you get your marketing right. And we're gonna do the same thing again this year. So that comes from marketing. So back to the original point, right? A little seeming like a tangent, but this actually really connects. If you're devising marketing messages and you can essentially, one thing that I'm tasked with as the owner of essentially a sales and marketing business is I have to create, if I need to connect with people who aren't in our geographic area, right? Because we do a lot of construction work. And so we can't necessarily serve people who are say out of state, for example, or out of our area. I have to figure out what I can transact with those people with, right? I have to invent products that can help those people so they give us money, right? I get a coin, I give them something that's valuable in return. Very simple, right? I am inventing things to market and sell people. If, for example, and this is just a crazy example, not related to anything we're talking about, but just a crazy example, you know, let's say, cat, perfect example. Let's say you sell cat medicine, right? I'm really avoiding like talking about a specific industry. Let's say you make cat medicine, right? And you say, whoa, my cat's nails are growing too fast. My cat has some sort of affliction of its nails. They're growing too fast. Does your cat have nails that are growing really, really fast? And get whipped up into this panic of like, oh my God, what if they grow too fast? And what if they can't retract them? And what if they're always out? And what if they hurt themselves when they're trying to clean themselves? Because they do that cute thing where they lick their paw and they rub their face. What if they hurt themselves with their claws while they're doing that? Is your cat suffering from this overactive claw gland growing thing? Well, we have this medicine that cures it, right? And now there's this invention of, man, like all these cats, their nails are growing so fast. This thing is like popping up. It's spreading like wildfire. The cat's fucking nails are growing at the same rate that they were before. You're just now aware of the rate of growth of the cat's nails. And by the way, they didn't hurt themselves before. And you think this might be like, come on, who would ever fall for this? Really? Really? With what happened in 2020 and 2021 for the past 2 years, and now apparently we're not even done with, really, who would fall for it? You would fall for it. Like, I mean, for a couple weeks, I would fall for it. Things can be invented. Problems can be invented by people who aren't actually interested in solving real problems. That's actually an entire industry, is creating and marketing problems that are not real, that are just created. They're literally invented problems that then someone can create and manufacture and sell a solution for. It's a legitimate, although, I mean, in my opinion, totally unethical and wrong and like literally like so destructive of time and energy. It's not even funny. It actually makes me sick to my stomach. But it is a way that people make money, and it's considered highly legitimate. It's actually considered very prestigious, and it's like, wow, you are helping the world by doing this. But in reality, if we actually look at it, you are picking out little things that really aren't even a problem, blowing them out of proportion, making them seem like they could be a problem via marketing, which I respect the shit of because I love marketing. I love it. And honestly, what these people do is amazing. And I'm going to do the same shit, but to sell good things. Things that actually fucking help people, because we bust, like in construction, people bust their asses and they don't get paid anything for it. I'm going to change that single-handedly. Watch me over the next 10 years. But anyways, back to the point. There's invented ideas of problems that then you can market and sell solutions to. So, you know, whether this is something that resonates with you or not, I'd ask you, just consider, could someone create a problem that then they could give a solution for, right? I mean, is that even humanly possible? Have you ever been tricked? Have you ever been tricked in your life? You know, if you've never been tricked, kudos. I have been tricked, like, for sure. The first time I got the Nigerian Prince email, trust me, if I wasn't like, when that happened, I was like 13. If I had the money, I would have sent it to the Nigerian Prince. I know people in my family who've been tricked by people saying that like they have valuable gems, and it's these you know, the things you buy in the gift shops, like at Yellowstone, where there's like the big like broken gem. It's like a rock that like got broken. I forget what they're called. But anyways, this guy had a couple of them, and he tricked somebody in my family into thinking, yeah, my grandfather, he owns this gem mine in like Peru, and we're trying to figure out how to get the gems into the United States and not pay a ton of taxes on them. And this led to all these crazy things. Like, think about it and be honest. And this is not like, obviously, you know, you and me were sitting here like having this thought conversation. We're doing this video, but you know, obviously we can't really have a conversation about it, but I won't tell anybody. You know, you can tell me, your buddy Brad. Have you ever been tricked? I mean, come on, I've been tricked. So is it possible that if you could trick enough people into session, if you made up a good enough story about something that people are already worried about, like you're probably worried about your body, right? I worry about my body. I just went to the gym. The reason I did that is to keep my body in good condition, right? Because frankly, in 2021, it went to shit condition, and I'm not okay with that. So, and I shouldn't have been okay with that the whole time. It should have never happened, but now I'm fixing it. So I'm concerned about my body, right? I want it to be in great physical condition because right now, this is the only one I've got. Like I can't just go and grab another one. So maybe one day, but so could it be possible, you know, back to the original line of questioning, is it possible that somebody could maybe hit on a point that people are already pretty concerned about and invent a problem or take a little problem and blow it way out of proportion? Think about the cat nail thing, right? This is a cat's paw, get it? Is it possible? Like just consider, is it even possible? And I know we've gotten a long way from the cancer conversation, but I was thinking about it. Somebody said something about cancer and I was like, cancer is such a weird thing. I'm like, wow, I wonder what the actual logic is. So I actually did some research and found out that it actually at one point was a law that now has, my impression is that it's no longer like illegal to say that you cured cancer, but at one point it actually was. And so now it's more of just like an accepted practice thing. But, you know, is it possible that at one point somebody, and by the way, cancer is obviously real, like obviously it happens. What I'm talking about is the cure thing, like having an end to it. And so is it possible that the idea of an endless illness, sounds familiar, wait, an illness that plagued all of humanity for 2 years straight? That would never happen. Anyways, with no symptoms and very little deaths, would never happen, would never happen. Forget I said it, would never happen. Anyways, is it possible that somebody could come up with something in order to, it's so funny, in order to sell a cure to it? So, you know, maybe the answer is yes, maybe the answer is no. You know, I think you can guess what my answer would be. So if you watch this whole video, this 17 minutes of me rambling about problem, she really wants me in this video. If you've watched this whole video about me rambling about problems, I do really appreciate your attention. You know, on this channel, I put out videos about ideas that stick with me. Like, I hope you can tell that I'm a really genuine person. Like, I talk about things that I think are important, things that I think affect me, things that I think will affect you, things that I think will affect our cats. And, you know, like genuinely, I just talk about things that I truly, honestly believe. I hope that the conviction comes through in the videos. And so if you think that it does, here comes the ask, subscribe. Seriously, it actually helps me to know that what I'm doing is valuable in sharing my thoughts, because I talk to a lot of people who I have conversations with like this, and I'm like, dude, you need to make a video about this. What you are saying right now is brilliant. And they're like, you know, no, I just can't do it. So I feel like whenever I have one of those conversations, I'm like, okay, I got to go make another video because that person doesn't feel like they can. So two things. One, I hope this acts as permission for you to go in and share your thoughts, because you know, I've been doing this now for probably 3-4 years. I don't even know how long, 3 or 4 years, just making videos about things that are on my mind that I think are really relevant to you. And so one, do it. And two, subscribe, because it lets me know. It's kind of an indicator, right? Everybody has to have indicators. You have to have statistics that you track and indicators of how you're doing. Subscribers are an indicator that somebody's like, you know what? That's valuable. Like, I think that's good. I should support that. Click. You know, that click, even though it seems like a little action, for me, you know, at the time that I'm recording this, you know, I have like maybe 400 or 500 subs. Like, that extra subscriber is like, wow, okay, I brought somebody some value. They like thought enough of it to actually click subscribe. So if you did think that it was great, hit the subscribe button and leave me your thoughts. You know, I would love to know what you think about this in the comments. Like, seriously, this is a fun little dialogue, I think, and a good thing that I'm sure people will get hyped up about it. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is a conversation from somebody who's genuinely just thinking through this. And, you know, like I said, people in my family have died from cancer. I know it's a real thing. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. What I'm talking about is the mentality of you can never be done with it. That's really what I'm trying to address in this video, is the mentality of chronic illness and the idea that you can just never be over something. It's like you get it once and we've got you for life. If you think about it, it might be the original subscription model. Is that scary or what? Nah, it's not scary because nobody benefits from it, right? Anyways, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. If you got value, again, hit the subscribe button. It does help me a lot. And if you would actually hit the bell next to the subscribe button, that's the only way you're ever gonna see my videos anyways, because there's so much stuff I'm sure in your YouTube feed. If you don't hit the bell, you won't get the notifications. So hit the bell, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you thought in the comments. That's my other cat back there. One here, one over there. I'll talk to you in the next video. I'll show you more cats in the next video, I promise. Thanks for watching. Don't get cancer, be well, be great, go do great things. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you thought in the comments.